So, this is a shift for us. If anybody remember on Palais Let's Talk, we had it in a webinar and workshop setting. And we decided that we wanted to have something a little bit less formal and getting on the bandwagon of the podcast as well. It allows us to have more of conversation and being able to exchange information at the same time so that everybody can get the education that they need. So today we're going to have somebody that everybody knows because she is a regular at On Palais. It is Allyson White.
Hi.
She is a clinical herbalist, has a bachelor's in business in professional health science, as well as a master's degrees in oriental medicine. Allyson has been with us doing On Palais for 2 years. 2 years now.
Just about.
Yeah, this is we're consistent. If anything, we are consistent, and she always has like a really good advice for us when it comes to traditional medicine. I always want to say that because there's modern medicine, and then there is the real thing, what's been there for ages. That is medicine, and this is what Allyson specializes in. So, without further ado, I'm gonna let it go to Allyson. We're going to talk about vitamins today. Continue our conversation on vitamins. Mm-hmm. And you have some good stuff for us.
Yes, I do. So as Natasha said, I am the owner, operator of Naked and Natural Skincare and Plant-Based Medicine. And I just want to take a time to give my disclaimer first. This information is not a substitute for medical advice, so see a trusted clinician. This information is a place for you to start, give you the information so that you can build on it. Today, we're going to continue. Last time we did minerals, and this time we are going to do vitamins. And there's so much information about vitamins. Vitamins, basically, you need to take it day to day. There are two types of vitamins. There's fat soluble, and then there's water soluble. We're going to talk about the benefits of both types, as well as the drawbacks of the types of vitamins that you take, because there are some drawbacks. Too much of a good thing can be too much of a good thing. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that. I always say, on top of my disclaimer, one of the things that I always say is you have to pay attention to your body. That way you know in the long run what works for you. Mm-hmm. So that being said, that being the case, let's talk about the fat-soluble vitamins. And there are 4 of them that we actually use in our day-to-day life. We use vitamin A, D, E, and K. And all of those are fat-soluble. The thing you have to understand, fat-soluble and water-soluble. Water-soluble you tend to pee out, urinate out, or the pretty way to say it. I have no pretty way to say it. So let's just say you typically pee it out. So you won't necessarily get too much toxicity with that, not unless you're overloading yourself with it.
So that means people who think that, oh, I'm going to have a cold or I'm going to take the plane or whatnot, let me take an overdose, almost like extra vitamin C and all of that. It's not really.
It's not going to
do anything.
It's not going to do too much of anything because your body is going to take what it needs and then get rid of the rest. Yeah. Okay. So don't overdo it. But you can't teach people new things sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they're stuck in their old ways and they won't want to change it, but at least they have the information.
Exactly.
So if they want to go check to see if what we're saying is true, mm-hmm. There's University Google,
University YouTube. There's so many different places that you can get the information. And again, I cannot stress it enough. You have to do your own research because what I tell you could work for you, mm-hmm. Or it may not work for you based on how your body is situated. Mm-hmm. Everyone's body is absolutely different. So you have to know your body and where to start. And this is why we're doing On Palais in the first place, but also, this format of conversation. Mm-hmm. So, first and foremost, vitamin A. Vitamin A is fat soluble and it helps with quite a few things. It's very, very beneficial. It actually helps with the growth of your skin, the lining of your intestinal tract, your lungs, your reproductive and urinary tract, as well as the outer surface of your eyes. It's really good for your eyes. And it also helps with the white blood cell function properly. So you definitely want to start adding vitamin A to your diet. But before I get too far into vitamin A, because it is fat soluble, it can get lodged in your fat cells. In order for any of the fat soluble vitamins to work, you have to take it with a fatty meal. People would say, oh, you have to take it with a meal, but some people don't have fats in their meal sometimes. So whether or not it's avocado, cottage cheese, but I say it again, if you're black, be mindful of too much dairy. There's butter that is considered dairy, but you can look up how to make your own ghee and use ghee. Ghee's wonderful. The milk solids are taken out, so it should not be too harsh on your digestive system. So ghee is something that you can use. If you're hard, heavy core, you can take it with a spoonful of cod liver oil or some kind of oil. But taking it with any kind of fat soluble vitamins, taking it with fats will help your body metabolize it better, and it will help it work better.
That kind of reminds me of something just clicked. When we were younger, and you know how you're younger and they always line you up to get your vitamins and everything?
Your cod liver oil?
Yes. Now I remember my grandmother was giving us cod liver, and I'm like, why the hell is she giving us that? Well, maybe she didn't know but she knew that you need to have some fat in order for this to work.
I grew up taking cod liver oil, and you guys are so lucky in this era of pills. We did not have an era of pills. We had a spoonful of cod liver oil, and if you have ever taken a spoonful of cod liver oil, let me tell you,
it'll make you gag.
It is disgusting.
But then again, nowadays we got convenience, but the convenience is killing us also.
Yes,
because to make that capsule, what the hell are we ingesting in that capsule?
Exactly, and what's in that capsule? How long has it been sitting in that capsule?
Exactly.
Is it what's the word?
They got stabilizers.
Is it rancid?
Yes.
Did it go rancid? We can't tell because it's in a capsule. So a spoonful of oil is gross, but you can always chase it with some lemon. Just saying, there's some options. We grew up with cod liver oil and sulfur bitters.
Cod liver oil is what she used to.
Yeah, we had to take cod liver oil. We had to take sulfur bitters. And now that I am in medicine making and I understand sulfur bitters is really good for your digestive system, it's good to help you, the bile get produced, and then your gut do all the things that it needs to do so that you can eliminate properly. It was very important. Yeah. So back to it. Okay. So if you are vitamin A deficient, you'll notice that you'll be getting more viral infections as well as respiratory infections, and it's chronic. It never goes away. It constantly comes back.
And it makes sense because it helps with the coating, the lining of your stomach, the lining of your urinary tract, the lining of your lungs. And that's something that is super important. The babies, I don't know the term in English, they call it surfactant. It's literally the little fatty coating that is being produced inside of your bronchioles, and that helps it to expand and move the mucus out.
Oh gosh, what is it called?
I know the term in French. I don't know it in English.
It's almost like that villi where you. Okay.
I can see how the vitamin A would help to keep all that moving, and why it's important. If you're deficient in it, everything seems to stay stagnant. And when it's stagnant, that's when it gets infected. All that mucus
Yes.
gets infected.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, absolutely. And this is any kind of viral infection. So, being mindful of that. So, if you notice that you're constantly getting sick and it just never goes away, you might need to start adding some vitamins that you're missing, because most of us are missing so many vitamins. Our food is depleting all of that from us.
Yeah.
If you're taking any kind of medication,
Yep.
that is depleting that from you. Stress, any kind of stress is depleting that from you.
People underestimate stress. How much it will. Yeah.
Yep, because it increases your cortisol and then messes with your immune system and your gut. So, yes, people underestimate it. They think it's not anything. But I am working with someone who has always had digestive issues. And when his mind is not great, when he's stressed, his gut is not good. He can't eat properly. He cannot sleep well. He either gets constipated or gets diarrhea. So there's so many things going on with stress, and people think, oh, it's just a mind, it's not a big thing.
Yeah.
But there is a gut brain connection. It is so important to know this. If you are upset and you notice that you're constipated, if you are upset and you notice, I honestly did not realize that. That's why I'm such a person that advocates for knowing what's going on in your body. And the only reason I knew this was because when I was in acupuncture school and I was going through stress, and I happened to say something like, I'm usually constipated when I go to work. And for those 3 days, used to be this way, thank God it's not that way anymore. But when I go to work for that 3 days, I'm in a very stressful situation. So I would be constipated and I wouldn't use the bathroom until sometimes I would go home, which we all know is not good. And my teacher talked to me and he's like, are you upset? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, do you get upset? And when you get upset, do you get constipated? And that's how I realized that I don't get diarrhea like some people do, but I get the opposite. Yep. So knowing your body and knowing what's going on with you is
key.
So important. But so back to it. So on top of respiratory infections, it's really, really essential for eye health. Like I mentioned before, it helps with your cornea. So it's helpful for night blindness, excessive sensitivity to light, age-related macular degeneration, red eyes, dry eyes. These are some of the signs of chronic vitamin A deficiency.
Okay.
So being mindful. Now, foods that are rich in oils, fats, like basically your butter, your eggs, your liver, your seafood, your fish liver oils, those are very good.
Avocado?
Yes.
Because see, I'm stuck on avocado.
You're stuck on avocado, and that is okay if you love it. I mean, you can do so many different things with avocado. So people make. Did I see something one day? People making
ice cream?
No, not just ice cream. Chocolate with it.
What? I saw that. Girl, oh no, I'm gonna digress. I was gonna start talking about. Actually, I might as well digress. I was talking about when we went to Costa Rica and we went to a cocoa farm and we got to make some cacao paste, like from scratch.
Did you take any back with you?
Girl, I wish. We got warned. Somebody was like, have fun. Actually, I think it's Tracy's son was like, be mindful what you bring back. And everybody was like, when Tracy told us that, we're like, we're not taking seeds. We're not taking nothing. We're not taking no gift. We the warning,
Yeah.
Especially with the climate we're in right now. So,
yes.
So yes, and it was like the bitterness was actually good.
Yeah?
Yeah. When you get it straight from the cacao bean, they had fermented it, dried it, we roasted it, and from roasting, I have a little video with the rock. I was
Yeah,
crushing
yeah.
it, removing the husk, and then after that, putting it through the grinder. The paste itself, like we eat it with roasted bananas. Girl, it was so good. It
Roasted
was
green bananas?
no, no
Roasted.
sweet bananas, not maduros, bananas. They roast it on the charcoal, and then they put the cacao paste in the
Inside.
middle, and then you just scoop it with a spoon. The sweetness of the banana and the bitterness of the cacao.
That actually sounds quite delicious.
It
And I
was.
look, I take bitters, but it doesn't mean it's bitters all the time. It's bitter all the time, but that actually sounds delicious.
So I'm thinking that cacao, the dark cacao, I
Yeah.
could see it mixed with avocado and making
Mm.
kind of like a spread with it. It would be good.
Okay. Daily dosage is between 1,000 IUs and 10,000 IUs. And for those that don't know, IU is International Unit. So it's basically a, what do you call that word? Something that everyone
Everyone.
uses
Yeah,
and
it's
knows
global.
what, yes, global, and everyone knows what that actually means.
Okay.
So to test if you are low in vitamin A, you want to take a serum retinol test or just a retinol test. And your range is going to be between 20 and 60. Very important. Now, 20 below 20 means that you're low. Above 60 means that you're headed into the toxicity range. So you want to be mindful of that. Um, Now, some things to keep in mind. If you are malnourished, if you have celiac disease or Crohn's disease or even liver disease, you could actually be deficient in vitamin A
Okay.
because your body is not absorbing what it needs to be.
It's
What
not
it needs
absorbing the fat. Crohn's disease, all that.
Mm-hmm.
They can't process fat.
Yep.
So without the fat, then your vitamin A has nothing to stick to.
There you have
Flushes
it.
right out.
Yep.
All
So you
right.
definitely need to be mindful of that. If you are pregnant, especially in the early stages of pregnancy, it is recommended that you get a vitamin A test and continue to get them periodically throughout your pregnancy. You want to be in the medium to high range in your pregnancy.
Because you got that parasites growing inside of you. They call them fetuses, babies, whatever. I call them parasites.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's those little alien, like the movie Alien, that little egg that dropped inside. That's exactly what it is. It latches on and takes everything from you. A blessing when they come out, if they are a blessing. But yeah. Yeah, that's why you have to have a high range, because the parasite is going to suck everything out.
Yes, yes. We won't talk about teeth and bones. We'll just skip that. Now, if you have vitamin A toxicity, some of the symptoms that you'll experience are headaches, hair loss, red itchy skin, enlargement of the liver, as well as joint pains. The symptoms are reversible once you stop taking so much vitamin A. It is recommended that you see your physician. Now, if you notice the symptoms aren't going away, see a doctor. Even if you stop taking it, that way they can give you good advice. Water will help flush it out,
Okay.
but that's not the only solution.
Okay.
So see a trusted physician to help have him guide you and let him know what's going on. So he
Okay.
can.
So first that they can test you to see where you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Absolutely.
closer to 60, then most likely your body will revert by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you're like really bad in the toxic level, you may need to be hospitalized.
That is a possibility. Yeah, definitely. So seeing a doctor for sure, it's important.
All right.
Okay.